Welcome back, V.O.C. YouTube channel. Week 3 of college football is here. We're going to dive into Week 2, talk about Mel Tucker at Michigan State, that whole situation that arose last weekend. And then we're going to talk about Texas beating Alabama and what does that mean for Texas. And then finally, talk about this week's picks. Let's jump into it.
Third down for
Looking back at Week 2, want to talk about 4 games, or 5 games, but kind of brought in 2 together because they were very similar. Look, Colorado and Coach Prime won again, beating Nebraska 36-14. Look, the train is moving. It is going well. Deion's got the team playing well. Shedeur Sanders is a true Heisman candidate. They play Colorado State this week. They're a big favorite. And then moving into the next 2 weeks after this week is really where it goes into. But they've done everything they needed to do. They've doubled their wins from last year. They're continuing on. Colorado State's coach said some stuff this week to fill the fire. Why would you ever? But that's when you have a guy like Deion Sanders, I've said it before, a guy like him can do the things that he can do. He's going to be successful. It's fun to watch, and the train rolls on. Miami upset Texas A&M 48-33. Mario Cristobal gets that first real big win at Miami. Hopefully that could kind of kickstart what you wanted to see from Miami. But it's very interesting to see where Miami goes now after getting that win. Ole Miss pulled away from Tulane. Tulane's starting quarterback didn't play. Tulane was in the game, and then Ole Miss pulled away. Very good win for Ole Miss. We're gonna look back in a couple weeks and be like, that was a very good win from Ole Miss because Tulane's a very good football team. And then both Oregon and Utah squeeze out wins, playing opponents last week that lost Week 1 games when they probably shouldn't have. Oregon squeezes out. Utah squeezes out. They were games that were exciting to watch because there's no way they should have lost those games, right? But it was close. It was tight. It shows kind of where college football is right now. And Utah is still playing without Cam Rising. All right. Mel Tucker suspended without pay as Michigan State's head coach. I felt like clearly this is the biggest story, I think, in college football right now just because it's a very interesting story. It's one of those stories that hits. We get a lot of information, and then we don't hear anything because, like, the hearing doesn't happen until October 6th. But I couldn't do a video without talking about it as an alumni of Michigan State and having been at that school, cheered for that team. You know, I have to talk about it. I can't sit here and act like the black eye didn't happen that's been brought on the school. Mel Tucker has been allegedly accused of sexual harassment to a sexual assault victim. The school has been investigating the incident, and like I said, the hearing is scheduled for the week of October 5th to find out if he violated any of the school's policies that are involved in his contract. Tucker told investigators that the act was consensual. Both parties have put out statements, and now it kind of turns into the he said, she said situation, right? Where the little bits of information we've gotten, you look at it and you say, okay, everybody has their opinions on these situations, but we need to just wait till the hearing happens, wait to see what else they found in the investigation and what else was going to come up. Because you get these things that we don't know about them, they come out, both parties put out their statements, put out their view of things, and it's a lot to take in at a time. So, like I said, until we see the whole investigation, we need to hang tight and trust the process of how it's going to play out. And as I look at it as an alumni of Michigan State, one of the biggest problems I've had with the situation is just how the school has kind of handled this situation. Supposedly they've known since December, and their investigation wrapped up in June, I think July. And so it's like that's the biggest problem is it wouldn't have gotten out until the hearing because we would have heard about the hearing. The hearing is something the school is doing. It's very interesting, and of how the school kind of handled this, and I don't think it's one of those things that's been very good for the school because of the history they've had with Larry Nasser and how they kind of handled some of those things, and that was a long period of time where things happened there. When you're a school that has history of problems, you need to be on top of this every given second, every given moment. You need to let people know what's going on, and for it to come out late Saturday, Sunday, where nobody knew about it, and now it's the talk. That's what makes it difficult. The school has named Harold Barnett the interim coach, and then Mark D'Antonio, who's the former coach, previous Mel Tucker, is come back to kind of help set up the program in ways, and that's kind of what this team needs. It's what these players need to go through right now. Is you need a figure in the room that you can look to, a guy that hasn't had problems, has done everything the right way, was successful there, can help. He's not coming in to coach. He's not coming in to do X and O's. He's just coming in to give the school, give the football team a face that can represent them in this time. But like I said, for the most part, we have to wait and see how this investigation plays out and how it goes into what the school does, how the parties handle it. Like I said, both putting out statements of the acts that they believe took place of, and then the school. So it's just we wait and see now. It sucks for the school for image reasons, right? But you can't feel sorry for the school in all sense because of some of the timeline of things, just and how it's worked out is not the best. And as somebody as an alumni, it doesn't make me happy when I look at it and how everything's been handled so far. All right, moving on. Texas beat Alabama 34-24. Texas walked into Tuscaloosa Saturday night and showed just how talented they are. Look, I told you they were going to win last week. Texas is a very, very good team. I had them as one of my playoff teams. I highly considered them to win the national title, but I looked at LSU and thought, I'll take LSU. But Texas is very, very good. Hook 'em, right? Like hook 'em. Like that's all you have to do nowadays. Just any Alabama fan just go up to them and just do one of these. Give them a double hook 'em. Because it felt good. It was like a win for, I think, everybody. And people hate Texas. Big brand, hate Texas. But when you have a team like Texas that's been average for a very, very long time, they threw up this stat of when Alabama, since they played in the national championship in 2009, Alabama's won like 75% of their games. Texas has won like 50. So Texas is a big program that's had average play problems, and for them to come around with Sark to win the game, it was fun to see. I thought, as someone that picked them as well. But they're dominant on both lines of scrimmage. They attacked Alabama on both sides. It was one of those times where, for the first time in a long time, Alabama got manhandled around. They didn't look like Alabama. This is a completely different Alabama team than what we've seen in years past. When you don't have a guy like Bryce Young to come save you, it makes everything tough. They didn't really have a pass rush. Their defense is very young. They had freshmen starting on the offensive line. The team as a whole is very young. When I looked at Alabama, my takeaway was how good Texas is. But my other takeaway was Alabama's going to be very good in 2 years when they have freshmen that are going to be juniors. As long as they find a quarterback, Alabama in 2 years is going to be very, very good. And so for people that say the Nick Saban dynasty is over, it's not. He just needs to redevelop and retool this program a little bit and build the depth. The last couple of years with Alabama, they've been pretty top-heavy. Bryce Young, Will Anderson, 2 cornerstones on each side of the ball. Around them, not as good as it has been in years past. Quinn Ewers is the real deal. With Worthy, Mitchell, Sanders on the outside, They can do a whole array of a lot of different things. When you have an offensive line, that's good. It doesn't matter who the running back is. They're going to run the ball successfully. Quinn Ewers, as a talk, because he can't throw the deep ball, threw 2 deep touchdown passes. Had another deep pass to Mitchell that got him out of deep in Alabama territory. When I look at Texas, they have a legitimate shot. They just do. Sark can make matchups, go after people, and he did that a lot. He kept Alabama on their toes and kept them like, what is he going to do? How's he going to do this? It was very, very interesting. And it just threw Alabama off. And when you look at Alabama, the quarterback situation isn't the greatest, right? Jalen Milroe, guy can throw the deep ball crazy. He can throw the deep ball and he can run like crazy. Other than that, what else does he have? Not much. The short to intermediate throws aren't there. When he looks to run or move in the pocket, he just takes off. He's not looking to pass. Now for Alabama, you have a quarterback problem. And now supposedly Tyler Buchner is going to play when they play UCF this week. Good luck with that one. As a Notre Dame fan, trust me, I've seen enough Tyler Buchner to know he's not going to work. He couldn't beat Marshall last year. He looked horrible in the spring game at Notre Dame. So to put him out there, maybe with UCF, he might look decent. But to try and win in the SEC, Tyler Buchner's not going to be your guy. Tommy Rees brought him down. It was inevitable that he was going to become the starter for Alabama. But to me, when I look at Tyler Buchner and Jalen Milroe can do more than Tyler Buchner. Buchner's athletic, not like Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe is going to get you out of situations. He's not going to win you the biggest games, but you might win 9 games with Jalen Milroe. But in Alabama, that's not good enough. But you play Buchner, you might not win 9 games. So that's going to be very interesting. It's like one team's going up the escalator, the other team's going down. Texas is going up, Alabama's going a little down. 9-win season for Alabama, that's not awful. But there's just something that feels different about them when you look at how they play on the line of scrimmage. That's the number one. Because Nick Saban brings down Tommy Rees, who likes to have a good offensive line, run the football, play a different style, and they feel uncomfortable to me. It feels like Tommy Rees might be in over his head a little bit. He doesn't feel comfortable in the moment, in the situation. Maybe with Tyler Buchner he does, but it just, when you watch them two teams, they're different trajectories, and it was very interesting to see Texas and how you can spread them out and how they can play, and it was kind of a coming out party for Texas, as we've kind of been like, oh, they can do things and how good they are, and they finally do something. It was like the first time they beat a top 3 team since like the mid-2000s, which is crazy to think, but they did. So Texas has always been a good team or a bad team. They haven't had those wins where they've gotten over the hump, and this was one of those wins that felt like they got over the hump, and it was very interesting to see, very fun to watch. Texas, very good. Very, very good chance to win the national title. If out of a full body of work for the first 2-3 weeks we've had, Texas is probably the best team right now. It's still very early, but you look at them right now, they're probably the best team. And for Alabama, like I said, next year to the year after that, they're going to be a very, very good football team. All right, let's move on to picks for this week. I was 5-2 last week, 9-6 on the year, coming off a really hot week here. Not a whole lot of games that are spicy to choose from. Still early in college football. But I think I have 6 games here to pick from. All right, number 7, Penn State, 2-0, -14.5 at Illinois. I think it's going to be a game that we need to see Penn State in a game like this. Illinois wants to run the football, play defense, try to knock you on your ass. How does Penn State react to that? How can they play? I like Penn State to win, but I think it might be a little bit closer than 14.5. South Carolina, who is 1-1, at number 1 Georgia, 2-0. This is another game where it's like we need to see Georgia in a game like this. South Carolina was that team last year that beat Tennessee, beat Clemson. Can they beat Georgia? I don't know. They don't have the same feel as they did last year. And for Georgia, new quarterback. How does Carson Beck play? It'll be very interesting. I like Georgia to win it. Number 11, Tennessee, 2-0, -6-point favorite at Florida, 1-1. People that think this game's going to be close, I don't think this game's going to be close. Florida is a program that is going, you talk about trajectories. Let me get it right. Trajectory, there we go. They're going down, Tennessee's gone up. I don't know if Billy Napier's fully the guy at Florida. Graham Martz isn't fully the quarterback at Florida. I think Tennessee wins this game, and I think they do it by double digits. Number 15, Kansas State, 2-0, -4-point favorite at Mizzou, 2-0. Kansas State, I think, is one of those teams that's going to be lurking, where we don't really talk about them. We don't really know much about them, and then they're going to play a team like Oklahoma. They're going to play a team like Texas. They're either going to win that game or they're going to play very, very good, and then we're going to go, wow, Kansas State is a very good football team. So I like to highlight them this week to get on the path of let's start watching them. I like Kansas State to win this game. All right, BYU 2-0 at Arkansas 2-0. Arkansas is an 8-point favorite. I had high hopes last year for Arkansas. I thought they would be a 9-win team with Jefferson and Sanders as quarterback, running back duo. They have a style of play where they want to run the football, get the quarterback involved in that, run their offense based off of that. Be very interesting to see. BYU's been a very good program over the last 5 years. As I almost dropped my pencil, but good reaction time because that's who I am, athlete. But I think Arkansas wins it, and I think Arkansas wins it by double-digit points. TCU 1-1, -7.5-point favorite at Houston 1-1. TCU still trying to rebound from losing to Colorado week 1. Houston and Dana Holgorsen. You leave West Virginia to go to Houston. We think there's going to be better days. It's a Big 12 game now. This game is tough because I'm not high on TCU. Wasn't high on them to start the year. I didn't care they went to the national title game. They went to the national title game and lost by 1,000. Should have told us a lot about that program. Houston is one of those where they're probably going to score some points. I wouldn't be shocked if Houston wins this game, so I'm going to go with Houston. All right. Look back. Quick recap. Coach Prime continues to just flourish college football with greatness, fun, integrity. You have coaches coming after him. Now he's wearing his shades and hats in all press conferences for the rest of the year, most likely after what Colorado State's coach said. Mel Tucker in that saga at Michigan State, like it's a waiting process. At the end of the day, it's a waiting process. It's one of those things that hits us hard, and then we have to wait for more details to figure out what the hell is going on. And then Texas back, Bama dying? Are they? Maybe. But not fully. We just have to wait and see with Alabama. Give them a couple years. They're young. Find a quarterback. Watching Tyler Buckner with them is going to be fun, but it's not going to go well, but it'll be fun for a lot of Notre Dame fans. In this week's picks. Thanks for watching.